whiskey loving legends for another episode of Was It Worth It Whiskey. And today we're going to look at the a famous Grouse variety. This one's been the Naked Grouse. I think they're actually renaming it to Naked Malt, but it'll be in exactly the same bottle, just a different label at the top. It's a blended whiskey, obviously, blended Scotch, and it's finished in first fill a Roseau sherry cask, which is very nice. It's got some very big names in it too. We've got Highland Park, we've got Macallan's, we've got Glenturret, we've got Glenroth's. So it's got some pretty big names in the whiskey in this blend, and then finished in Roseau sherry cask, like we said. Now, the whole famous Grouse, it started off a bit like Johnny Walker from a grocer. Grocer named John Brown started a grocer in Perth in Scotland, and then after a while his daughter married a bloke called Matthew Glogg. They inherited the business, and then 3 generations later then they start producing their first blended whiskey. 3 generations, Matthew the Third, I think. And it wasn't originally called Famous Grouse. It was originally called just the Grouse, but as it gained a lot of popularity I think in 1905, I think it was, he actually renamed it the Famous Grouse. So there you go. Anyway, we'll give it a go. It is remarkably cheap. I mean, it's a cheap blend. We all know that. We've all probably heard of it. I picked this bottle up for £19. So on the nose I get chocolate, raisins, sherry. I get a little bit of light malt too. There's some cinnamon, some orange, maybe even a bit of peach too. Now, I can smell it. It's not an old whiskey. I mean, it's a non-age statement, so we don't know how many years it is. It's at least 3 because it's a Scotch. But it's definitely got a little bit of youngness, a little bit of youngness, ethanol sort of nose to it. But very, very slight. On the palate, it's exactly what you would expect from a first fill finished Roseau sherry cask. You get like sweet caramel, raisins, plum pudding, cloves, maybe some star anise, a bit of custard on. There's a bit of custardy creaminess, vanilla in there as well. So it's bloody nice little palate really for a cheap blend. On the finish, it's much longer than I expected. Like a lot of these cheaper blends, they don't last very long. The finish is very, very short. Whereas this carries on quite a bit in with a light spice. There's a nice bit of oakiness in there. So whatever first fill barrels they did use, really got some really nice oakiness and that nice sherriness into it. As well as maybe even, now, like for me now, I'm tasting chocolate coated raisins. And that carries on chocolate coated raisin spice. So quite, it's not long, but it's definitely a medium sort of finish. It's interesting, I don't know whether you know, but in 2018, Grace Jones, who was the oldest surviving Briton, I think she was 112 years old, and she said that her secret to getting to that age was having secret to a long life was having her nightly tot, and her tot of choice was the Famous Grouse. So there's another little thing for you. But getting right onto it, because Was It Worth It Whiskey, I'm going to give it a score, and surprisingly I'm going to give it quite a good score, I think, for its cost. I'm going to give it 84 points for the nose, I'm going to give it 85 points for the palate, and I'm going to give it 84 points for the finish. So giving it a rough score, 85 points overall. So not a bad score at all, and definitely not a bad score for the price. When you think I got it for £19. You can pick it up usually at least for under £25 anywhere. You could pick it up for 30 USD or 50 AUD. So it really is dirt cheap on the bottom end of the market, and quite a drinkable, even neat drink. So I'm quite bloody impressed. Now, before I do it, was it worth it, Scott? I was thinking about what else can I compare this to? So there's only one bottle that I had on my shelf that was a blended malt that was finished in a sherry cask, and it's a bit more of a premium bottle. So I've got the Mac 4 here. Now it's a bit hard to do one, the Mac 4 is a lot more expensive. Two, the Mac 4 is 60%. So we can't do a complete back-to-back comparison. But what I thought I would try, just for grins and giggles, and I know a lot of people will get at me about this, but I thought if I could make the Mac 4 at 40%, then it would be a bit more of an equal back-to-back sort of taste. So to do that, take it from 60% to 40%. I'm going to put 6.7 milliliters of whiskey in, and I'm going to put 3.3 mils of water in. That should give me just over 40 ABV. So to do that exact, we have to use one of these. What do we say? 6.7. Okay, and that is 6.7 whiskey. I know this sounds a bit pointless, but just to get a comparison like for like. And 3.3 of water. And 3.3. There we go. Ooh. There we go. So now we have some Mac 4 on this side at 40 ABV, just like the Naked Grouse there. Just let that wallow in its water a bit first. Now I did do a review on the Mac 4, so have a look at it if you're interested. So on the nose, I get a bit more chocolate on the Naked Grouse, but I get a bit more age and a bit more depth still on the Supersonic Mac 4. The Mac 4 is definitely still much more rounded, much more, I can tell there's older whiskey in the Mac 4, but not by a hell of a lot. Yeah, well, really, the difference is there. The Mac 4, even at 40%, is a superior whiskey, there is no doubt. But you know what? At 40%, it's not by bloody much. And like I said, compared to 19 pounds versus 50 pounds. Now, having said that, there's no doubt in my mind I'd drink the Mac 4 over the Naked Grouse. But if I didn't have the Mac 4 and I couldn't afford the Mac 4, well, then the Naked Grouse is a great little competitor to it, I think. So for all you people that are down on the Grouse, the famous Grouse, and think it's absolute rubbish, and in some cases I tend to agree with you. This stuff is well worth the money. It's not the best sherry whiskey on the shelf, but if 19 pounds is all you can afford, I don't think you could get much better than the Naked Grouse or Naked Malt. So on that, I'm going to give it a was it worth it score. Now, I'm going to do the was it worth it score on 20 pounds 30 USD or 50 AUD, and on a score out of 100 of 84 points. And I'm going to give the Naked Grouse, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10, and that's a big thumbs up. So next time you see it on the shelf and your purse is feeling a little bit light, pick up a bottle, and I don't think you'll go too wrong. Until next time, cheers.